This is Jonathan Agafith, Pro Boxing Fans, joined by ESPN's Mike Coppinger, which has seen Canelo win the trilogy against Golovkin. Mike, your reaction?
You know, it wasn't as good of a fight as we expected, but at least it closed pretty strong over the last 4 or 5 rounds. Golovkin really wasn't throwing any right hands at all over the first 8 or so rounds, which was pretty puzzling, but I think he was probably wary of Canelo's sharp counter left hook. Canelo got him with a bunch of times. And I think, yeah, the fight was pretty much disappointing overall, but at least the rivalry's concluded now, and we'll see where the fighters move on to.
Obviously, like you say, Golovkin was pretty cautious early on for about 8 rounds, to be honest, and then he started throwing. Why do you think he took so long to get going?
I think it was probably a combination of being wary of Canelo's counter left hook that was faster and going to probably make him pay, and also he's 40 years old and maybe he was worried about not having energy later in the fight. I mean, Golovkin's always been a slow starter, even in his younger days. Kind of reminded me a little bit of Lomachenko against Teofimo Lopez when he didn't start getting going until the second half of the fight, and of course we found out later that he had a torn rotator cuff. But Triple G didn't seem to have any injuries from the press conference, so maybe just age.
Scorecard's too close for you?
Not really. I had it 116, 112. I gave Golovkin the final 4 rounds and Canelo the first 8. I guess maybe some people would say I was grading on a curve there. The first round was pretty close. Nothing much happened there, so I can see how you get to 15-13. So I think it's fine.
And what do you see as next for both?
I would love to see Canelo against David Benavidez next. I think that's the best fight for him and one of the best fights you can make in all of boxing. Benavidez is a monster, volume puncher, strong, mean, and I don't know that Canelo can beat Bivol. I mean, maybe he can, but I find the Benavidez fight a lot more interesting. Golovkin still has 2 titles at middleweight. I would love to see Golovkin and Jermall Charlo. If not, I would also like to see Golovkin against Jaime Munguia. If he wants to stay at 68, there's some good fights there as well, whether it's Billy Joe Saunders whenever he comes back, or even Benavidez as well.
Do you think there's any chance he said afterwards he's not planning on retiring, he's still got a plan, but do you think when the dust has settled there's any chance, do you think fighters change their mind?
Yeah, I think there's always a chance. I mean, he's 40 years old, he just made I think about $20 million for this fight, so definitely doesn't need the money, definitely has his legacy secured already, definitely could change his mind, but knowing fighters, he probably won't.
There you have it, Mike. Thanks for your time this week, and we'll catch you again soon.
Thank you.